Christianity is a rather simple to understand faith. If you die with Christ, you rise with Christ. The problem comes in the definition of terms, especially what it means to die with Christ. Obviously, our faith doesn't demand we actually take off our clothes, lie down on a crucifix, and have nails pounded into our wrists and feet. Though the historical Jesus actually died in that way, his followers were never expected to precisely imitate that event. Our dying with him is on a different level. That's why our first evangelist, Mark, makes certain his readers know what the gospel Jesus means by dying with him. 3 times Mark's Jesus predicts his passion, death, and resurrection. After each prediction, one or more of his disciples say or do something, showing that they have no idea what it means to die with him. Finally, Jesus clarifies the situation, teaching his readers 3 different lessons on dying. In today's gospel, after Jesus' question about who he is, presents us with the first of those predictions. Peter's given the honor of initially screwing up the works, earning Jesus' well-known dreaded command, "Get behind me, Satan." The leader of the 12 has no idea why dying with Jesus is necessary. Simon and those who think like him are obstacles to Jesus' dying, rising life and ministry. But how does someone actually die? By denying themselves, taking up their cross, and following Jesus. Of course, carrying one's cross wouldn't have made sense until after Jesus' resurrection. And that's why scholars believe the historical Jesus most probably encouraged his followers to carry their tau, and that's T-A-U. The tau, a T, isn't just the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. It's also used to symbolize totality, similar to our expression of from A to Z. Only for them it was from Aleph to Tau. Do something to the tau implies doing the whole thing. At the time of Jesus, some holy pious Jews would actually wear a tau on their clothes or tattoo one on their hand as a sign that they were totally dedicated to carrying out Yahweh's will. In today's gospel narrative, Mark is telling his community that the first way another Christ dies is to be totally open to whatever God wants him or her to do. Ironically, for the historical Jesus, part of his personal tau consisted in accepting the cross. No wonder the evangelist could replace tau with cross when Jesus was in the picture. Yet carrying one's tau is much broader than just one unpleasant thing we're expected to endure. Isaiah's tau, for instance, includes the physical suffering he refers to in our first reading. But even before that suffering happens, he mentions that Yahweh opens his ears every morning to hear what he's got in store for him during that particular day. Unless he's a good listener, he'll never die enough to know how he's part of Yahweh's plan. James couldn't agree more. Fed up with Christians who do nothing but boast about the depth of their faith in Jesus, he demands to know where the beef is. Only when we get involved in supplying the concrete necessities of the body for those in need do we start dying. Takes a lot of listening and tau carrying to reach that point. Obviously, some followers of Jesus hear only the rising part of their dying rising experience of the risen Jesus. Mark continues to be convinced we concentrate on the dying aspect for a little while longer. Tune in next week for the second way to die. It's guaranteed to get even more complicated.